Live from JMT Studios, Gary Seisel and Adam Buckingham are the Two Jersey Kids.
Hello all! It's episode 10! Episode 10 is here! That's exciting! I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside my good friend, Gary Seisel. Can you believe that we made it 10 weeks with 10 episodes? It's insane.
I feel like we've been at this for way longer than that, but yeah, 10. 10. That's actually my hockey number, by the way. Great number.
Oh, great number. We're passing it already.
Yes, sir.
You can do like maybe 99. Maybe that gives us good
Well,
luck. Maybe
you have to have
maybe we'll fall off a cliff after this episode 10. Who knows, thanks to you. You may have jinxed us. Oh, Jesus!
I'm jinxing us.
Forgot to turn off the sound. Classic rookie mistake. So what have you been up to this week, Gary Seisel?
It's been actually, I've been, obviously doing school and playing some hockey. I have a men's league game tonight again. We actually won our last game, 8-3. It was pretty cool.
Nice. High scoring.
Yeah, we kind of like went down 3-1 and then just rattled off like 7 straight unanswered goals. It was kind of crazy.
You scored all 7, right?
Well, I had one.
That's not good enough, Gary. You are putting the Two Jersey Kids name to shame that you only scored one goal. Two Jersey Kids breeds the best.
All right,
okay?
Well, a couple years ago, mind you, I had 2 straight hat tricks, 2 games in a row. It was actually one of the craziest things
But let me ask you this, Gary. Was that this past week? No. It was a few years back.
But
no.
The intention is that tonight I get back on that.
Yeah,
now.
You better score like 10 goals for episode 10.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little crazy. I would have to play against like children to do that. But anyway.
Still, then I don't think you would. I don't think you would score 10. They would skate circles around you.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. But in the video game world, I am eagerly awaiting the delivery of Skyrim Special Edition to my house tomorrow. I'll be getting on that, and maybe I'll have some stories for you guys next week. Actually, I definitely will. So. What have you been up to, Adam?
Did you play all of the original Skyrim when it came out to PS3, or did you give up on it?
Originally I played it, and then I kind of just took some time off. Like, I don't know. It was one of those games that I didn't get into right in the beginning. But then I came back to it, and I got really into it. I really appreciated it more. And I bought the, how's it called? The Dragonborn DLC. And I actually really enjoyed that. I never got I think it was the Hearthfire one, which was like you can build your own. Yeah, well, I never got that one.
I never
and I'm
realized
excited.
That may have been reason why they, because I never got that DLC. Do you just buy a house, or do you just have a house, or do you actually build it yourself? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure the whole thing is you build one, but you have specific areas where you can build it, so you can't just like build one right outside of a main city, which is kind of beat.
Maybe this was their precursor to Fallout 4 and all that building shit, even though that was garbage. No offense.
Yeah,
to people who liked it, good for you. It was tedious. Didn't make much sense. Like, the walls would be hanging up in the air.
Yeah.
No supports.
I didn't mind. I love that kind of stuff, but I felt like the options they had in that game weren't like really that great. Like, nothing looked nice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean, not that it has to in Fallout, but it didn't look cool like either.
Yeah.
So it was kind of beat. But yeah, I'm looking forward to
coolness factor to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like creating a settlement or something. I really wish it kind of zoomed out into the Sims world, so you're able to see like the layout of everything. It's kind of hard to see how everything lines up when you're just first person view trying to fix everything, or third person for that matter.
True.
It was frustrating. But this past week, what have I been up to? You asked like maybe 2 minutes ago. I'm finally getting onto it. What have I been up to this week? A few days ago, I watched the movie on Netflix called The Big Short. That's really good.
Movie.
You should watch that movie. Have you seen it?
I saw it in theaters.
This is like the one movie you've seen in theaters.
Well, you know what's hilarious about it? So, one friend of mine, me and her went, and it was just me and her in the theater. It was no one else was there.
I see you, Gary.
No,
I see you.
It was honestly hilarious. I was like, okay, so it's a Friday night. We're going to see this movie, The Big Short.
Did you pull the yawn trick? Did you yawn and then put your arm on your shoulder? over the shoulder?
yeah.
Did you pull the counting shoulders trick?
Oh, absolutely. You know the deal.
It works every time. That's actually I remember that used to be my move back in the day, back when I had to make moves, I guess. Never really worked out great. So take this with a grain of salt. But I'd always do a generic, like, most obvious, the fact that I was doing a cheesy, like, yawn, putting the arm over their shoulder. I would just make it so obvious that they would laugh, and then, you know, laughing eases their pain when my arm's over their shoulder, I guess.
Pain?
But besides watching that movie, really good movie, kind of made me a little scared for our future at the end. But and I also been playing Child of Light. Child of Light is a great game. I'm enjoying it. Very simplistic, kind of has some platforming to it, even though now I can fly. But most of the combat is very simplistic. You just have like a timing bar at the bottom. Once you get up to your cast point, you pick the action. It depends. Sometimes you move fast, slow, depending on which action you choose. If you hit it, time it properly, you can interrupt your foes. They can interrupt you. I like the art style. I like the story. Simplistic story right now they're telling. Basically a little girl trying to get back to, kind of died and I guess in a dream world state. But that's all I know right now. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. And I only got it for... because there was a sale a few weeks ago, and I got it for like $5. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. That's why I feel like it's sometimes benefits people just to wait for games that'll be going on sale. Like I saw The Order, 1866? Is that
1886?
1886. It was, from what I'm hearing, it's definitely not a good $60 game, but I saw it on sale for like $15. Heck yeah, you should pick it up. It's definitely worth that much.
Yeah.
So who knows if they'll make it. I think they'll make another one. I think Ready at Dawn will make another one. Because I'm pretty certain it sold somewhat well. So
the thing is, like, the theme of the game was so awesome. Like that's an awesome style game, but like it just didn't pan out. It's really a shame. I heard it was more of like a story game than anything else. Like there was just kind of like.
Yeah, but the story, there wasn't too much story to it because I think it only lasted roughly 5 hours. And I remember hearing a quote saying that the people that worked at Ready at Dawn were focused more on the tech aspect and the engine that's running it and how beautiful and stunning it is, but didn't focus enough effort on the story that revolved around Order 1886. And now that they have this engine that's beautiful, maybe their next iteration, 1887, if they call it that, because apparently 1886 left on a cliffhanger. 1887, they can focus more on the story because, and maybe flush out what they want from that, I think, very cool setting that they had going for it. Had like a steampunk, futuristic vibe to it with werewolves. Sign me up.
Indeed.
Should we move on to the topics now since we're 8 minutes in?
Hey, man.
It's
the 10th episode.
10.
Yeah,
What do you expect?
You gotta go crazy. It's gotta happen.
First one, you're talking about you are interested in Skyrim. That's our first topic of the day. Skyrim remaster mod space limited to 1 gigabyte on PS4, 5 gigabytes on Xbox One. Eddie Makuch over at GameSpot writes, ahead of the launch of Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition this Friday, October 28th, Bethesda has now confirmed another launch detail. In an FAQ, the developer clarified that the game's mod content specifically will be limited to 1 gigabyte of space on PS4, but 5 gigabytes on Xbox One. This discrepancy continues on from Fallout 4, which offers 2 gigabytes space on Xbox One, and when the feature launches, 900 megabytes of space on PS4. As announced previously, Skyrim will not allow PS4 mods that use external assets, so 1 gigabyte of space may indeed be enough, although you can delete mods and install new ones whenever you want if space is an issue. As Eurogame explains, assets in Skyrim can be small at times, under 1 megabytes. 1 megabyte, not bytes.
I guess to anybody that's a big mod fan, it would be disappointing. I guess the decrease of space from the Xbox One, but like like I said, I mean, the mods can't be that big if they're allowing 1 gigabyte and 5 gigabytes of space. So it makes you wonder if it's really going to be like a ridiculous factor going forward. I look forward to looking at some of the mods. I mean, some of them might not be my cup of tea, but I kind of do like. I mean, I'm not sure if this is going to be one of them, but I always loved the Tamriel mod that was on the PC, which made the climate of the game similar to what you saw in Elder Scrolls of Oblivion. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be part of it, but those are the kind of mods I like. I kind of like more the aesthetic type, but it depends. I mean,
I'm just curious what the largest mods for Skyrim. I feel like the largest would be story specific, where they have to write and include new information. Yeah. But honestly, my opinion with these mods, I feel like the first thing you should do, besides going out and getting story mods, I feel like the best thing you do is download mods that improve the game significantly. Because I'm pretty certain there's were mods on the PC basically eliminating loading screens for Skyrim, or you may be able to get a mod that enhances the graphics on PS4 or Xbox One. I feel like that's the mods you need to focus on first while playing the game. There's also mods that specifically start up your character in a different area of what's the damn, I can't remember the main land. What's the
Skyrim.
Fuck! That's embarrassing. For some reason I kept wanting to say Cyrodiil.
I hope I'm right about. Well, yeah, it has to be. Yeah,
but like,
Jesus, I think I'm going stupid all of a sudden. All right, whatever.
Me too. But specific parts of the map, so you're starting off in the western area instead of the generic 1 hour opening where you're about to get your head chopped off. Spoilers, and then a dragon comes in. More spoilers. I mean, if you didn't know that, you'll find out. It's not much of a spoiler.
Interesting, actually. A warning to people. If I was reading this correctly, if you enable mods on the new Skyrim, you actually can't earn trophies. So, unless you...
look at that! Pulling out some information to help the kiddies.
Yep, so if you are a trophy hunter, I recommend completing the game, doing all that shit first, and then going back, putting the mods on. So, just a heads up to all y'all out there.
I don't know if I would want to hunt trophies on this game. I don't know. I probably would do a playthrough, but then once I see mods that can enhance the ability to play the game, then I'll probably just download them. Say, screw it.
I've never been a trophy guy myself, honestly. The one game I got 100% in didn't have a platinum trophy. So
what game was that?
NHL 3-on-3 arcade.
Nice. Classic game right there.
And it wasn't like all those trophies were easy either. I think one of the trophies was to beat a team 10-0. A computer player, or not computer player, play online and win. Yeah, and I beat a guy 10-0 one time, and I got that trophy. 100%, bang, nothing to show for it. Thanks.
Well, you should look ahead of time and realize that there is no platinum. But that game was really good. It was basically, was there ever an NHL Blitz game? There was Hits, I think.
Back in the day, there was actually have it right up here on my shelf. NHL Hits.
Yeah, but that was basically a 3-on-3 version of it with you skating around as little body, big head type dudes.
It was. I mean, it was. I would say
we played the crap out of that game. We played so many games online, but I don't know if people want to hear about that.
Hey.
I've platinumed two games, and that's because I really enjoyed them. Resogun, which is a fantastic game. You should definitely get that on PS4 if you don't have it. Fantastic arcade-style shooter. And Rayman Origins on the Vita. I just felt like I had to platinum those games. Sometimes, I look at the list and I want to platinum a game because I'm really into it, and I get far enough, and then I see, it's online trophies. I don't feel Fallout 4. I didn't want to go online and do those trophies.
It's like Mass Effect, dude. The Mass Effect 3, they made you go online to complete the story for some reason.
Especially if you can't complete it all in one playthrough. I have a hard time trying to go back through and then do the look at the trophy guide and collect everything that's required. That's never been fun for me. I've never been a complete trophy hunter. But if the trophies are in my opinion, well placed, where you can basically just play the game and you just have to play the game well to get it. Like Resogun, you have to, I think, beat a stage or beat something on like the hardest difficulty, save all the humans, and as you go out, never don't lose any humans. Which it's all about just how well you play instead of missing something, which always annoys the crap out of me. But moving on. Every main Kingdom Hearts game is coming to PS4 next year. Chris Carter over at Destructoid writes, I was just recently talking to a few colleagues about Kingdom Hearts, and someone brought up the fact that it would be great if basically every game was available directly on PS4 to lead into Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, Square Enix thinks that's a great idea too. Today just announced Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix, which will collect 6 core games / movie retellings on PS4, bringing over some remasters from PS3. Launching on March 9th, 2017 in Japan and March 28th in North America, it'll include Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, Rechain of Memories, the 358 over 2 days movie, Birth by Sleep, and the Recoded movie. That's in addition to 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue that launches this January on PS4, which includes the 3DS game, Dream Drop Distance, Fragmentary Passage, a new game, and the back cover movie. So, I've always been a fan of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Never played the additional games. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't have the consoles and they never spoke to me as much as like the first 2 Kingdom Hearts games. I don't know when Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to come out. It took them a while to release Final Fantasy 15, so who knows when they're going to release Kingdom Hearts 3. It could be 2018. It could be 2028, for all I know. Who knows? Who really knows?
I never play these games. But I remember watching some friends of mine play that game. Is that like it's like the Disney? Yeah. Is it kind of like? I mean, from what I gathered, it was always kind of like a Spyro type, like Crash Bandicoot style play. Is it kind of like that at all in any way?
Nope.
Not like Spyro at all. Like
Nope.
Nope.
It
always seemed that way by the way I was looking at it. I mean, then again, I was watching it when I was.
It's more of an RPG
12?
where you're playing as Sora, the main character, rolling around with Donald and Goofy. Unless you go to different Disney worlds, so you'll get like if you go to Beauty and Beast World, you'll get Beast in your party. Switch out Donald because Goofy's awesome. And you're basically there's a story in each individual level related to the movie. And you're leveling up your character, just going through the world. It's sort of it's hard to explain. You just basically kind of do the things needed in the world to get through it. That's the best I can say. Like, it's not like a collectathon of any kind. You're just kind of going at it. It's hard to explain. It's not that hard. You just linear action, move through. Even though it does sometimes involve backtracking. But that's moving on. Skyrim Fallout developer no longer giving out early review copies. Vince Incognito over at IGN writes, Bethesda Softworks, publisher of Skyrim, Fallout, Doom, and other sizable video game series, has announced that they will no longer be providing advanced review copies of their games to any media outlet any earlier than 1 day prior to release. The publisher released a blog post on their official site earlier today explaining this decision, stating that, quote, while we will continue to work with media streamers and YouTubers to support their coverage both before and after release, we want everyone, including those in the media, to experience our games at the same time, end quote. This statement more or less echoes how Bethesda's handled the launch of Doom earlier this year. This all but completely prevents any game reviews from being published in time for the players to reference when making their purchasing decision. As for the hundreds of thousands of players who read pre-launch reviews, Bethesda offered this consolation. Quote, we also understand that some of you want to read reviews before you make your decision, and if that's the case, we encourage you to wait for your favorite reviewers to share their thoughts, end quote. The post does seem to indicate that other kinds of pre-launch content, most likely in the form of previews and trailers, would still be, quote, supported, end quote, but those looking to read impressions of the finished product will have to wait. What are your thoughts on that, Gary?
I think it's smart.
You think it's smart?
Well, it depends. I mean, because if you want, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain now, but you want people to experience the game all at the same time. So it's just kind of like, what difference does it make, honestly, when they experience it? I guess it's what they're going to give it out a day before the game releases. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess a day is kind of tough in that sense.
Yeah, because no review, especially in Bethesda games, no reviewer is going to be able to complete a review one day prior. And I know some people that do look at reviews, and they do make their purchasing decision based on that. But maybe statistics are showing to Bethesda that these reviews don't really matter whether they do well or not, because everyone is still on that pre-order train and not waiting until the game is actually out. Everyone pre-orders it, gets the game, and then they're really upset when it's not that great, when they could have just waited for a little while. So I don't know how much this affects. I guess if you want to be patient for the game, then just wait for your reviewers like they're saying, even though it sounds a little sassy the way they said it. But they're still going to do, I guess, previews, and people on YouTube will get it earlier to do previews. I guess that's somewhat a review, so you can make the decision for yourself, which in the end is your call. If something, you see it and it like clicks, like, hey, I want to play that game. It looks great.
I mean, personally, I look at reviews of games, but at the same time, I kind of like to decide for myself whether or not a game's good. So I don't really know if they're going to be affected too much sales-wise with this. I mean, I feel like you said, regardless, people are just going to go out. They're going to pre-order the game as soon as they hear about the next Elder Scrolls, next Fallout, and then that's going to be it. They aren't going to cancel their pre-order unless something comes out, like, you know, something crazy comes out about the game. You know, I don't know. Yeah,
that's going to suck, though. Like, what if now other publishers start following suit and start releasing games only to the media one day before? That sort of kind of screws them out of, like, getting the review copies and reviewing games, and that reduces traffic to their sites.
Yeah, actually, is interesting.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not in that spectrum to comment on how that's going to affect sites in general.
It's just going to be hard. I think it's just going to be harder for them to make reviews. I mean, they're going to have to be either that or the reviews. They're going to have to take longer to review the game. They're going to get a review out maybe a few days after the game releases, or they're just going to kind of like do like a review in progress sort of thing, like where they just kind of
I guess
like day by day,
more review in progress type stuff.
Which I hate, by the way. So
you hate. Because it seems like reviewers get the game like weeks in advance, so they can thoroughly review it and understand the nook and crannies of it, so they can see everything and relay information to the reader. So this is going to be, now that's going to set them back a few weeks maybe to do this, unless they want to do a review in progress, which I don't know how many people actually want to read the review in progress, but I've never been a fan of it. But that's to each his own. Moving on. PlayStation 4 has a pair of controllers made for pro gamers like you, Gary, in Destiny. Timothy J. Sapala over on Gadget writes, the Xbox One has the Elite gamepad that satisfies the platform's pro gamers or people who just want a really nice gamepad, but Sony fans are stuck with a controller that's barely changed since the PlayStation 4 launched in 2013. Rather than crafting one itself, Sony has announced it's working with the folks at Razer and Nissan, I don't know, to develop a pair of tournament-ready sticks. Like the Elite pad, these sport features like extra triggers and customization, but each handles the new bits differently. The Raju, parentheses, quote, Thunder Beast, end quote, offers trigger stops for quicker firing, extra bumper buttons. Jesus, this is a hard article to read. 2 extra detachable triggers, custom button mapping with 2 onboard custom profiles, removable analog stick caps, and wired connectivity via detachable USB cable. Oh, there's a control panel built into the controller too. Honestly, in terms of design, it looks quite a bit like an Xbox One controller with the headset adapter attached. Then there's the Revolution for Nikon, whatever you want to call it. Perhaps The biggest difference here, aside from the customizable weight, 4 button profiles, and a quartet of shortcut buttons, is the stick placement. The left analog stick and D-pad swap position, so instead of the 2 sticks being next to each other, they're offset like an Xbox controller. Another difference is that the sticks have 46 degrees of amplitude and are, quote, enhanced with innovative firmware for advanced esports accuracy and reach, end quote. Like the Raju, this one is wired as well. How do you feel about these new Pro controllers, Gary? They look a little bulky, not gonna lie.
I mean, honestly, the one gripe I've had with the PS4 controllers, I've been through.
You just game too hard. I know exactly what you're gonna say, but it never affected me.
Dude, I've been through like 4 controllers from analog stick issues or like trigger issues, and I mean, I've had 2 now that have been hanging in there, but I've been waiting for this. I've been wanting a PS4 Elite controller, kind of like the Xbox had. I kind of wish that Sony would step up to the plate and actually just make their own goddamn controller instead of going through third parties. But
shots fired.
But I don't mind. It's not that I think that third party companies are shit, but I mean, like the 2 controllers I'm looking at right now.
Sony partnering with someone, they're not going to choose like a crap third-party developer.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're crappy. But
that's
it's just
exactly what you're saying right now. You're saying that these companies are garbage and they're never going to make a good enough controller for you. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying, Gary.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Egotistical bastard.
Yeah, something like that. No, but it depends on the price point. But I would like to get a controller like this. I know, like, I looked at like scuff controllers before. They're like other, basically the same thing as this, but they have like paddles in the back and additional buttons, But I mean, it's like $150. Like it's not exactly a cheap purchase. So,
well, if you want to be pro, you got to fork up that money. If you want to be pro in Destiny,
I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Some of these guys play way more than me.
It's okay. Just wait until Destiny 2 comes out, and then you're back at an even level. Then you got a chance.
That's when the shit begins. Yeah,
that's when the shit hits the fan.
2017, the year of G-Sice.
I wonder what Destiny 2 is going to be. I wonder if they learned from their mistakes.
They're apparently it's going to feel like a completely different game. That's
we talked about it.
For another time. Maybe did talk about that.
Another time, you mean in the past?
And for another time when it gets closer to launch.
Go home, Gary. You're drunk. Moving on, Nintendo Switch will ship 2 million units in launch month, says President. Tamor Hussan writes over at GameSpot, Nintendo's next gaming platform, Switch, will ship 2 million units during the financial year ending March 2017, according to the company president Tatsuma Kishimi. Shipping units doesn't translate to sales, so the number is more indicative of how many consoles Nintendo is aiming to have with retailers during its first month. Speaking during a financial briefing as reported by Wall Street Journal's Takashi Mochizuki, Kishimi also said Switch won't be sold at a loss. This is noteworthy as traditionally, hardware is sold at a loss and software is used to recoup these costs. Not selling consoles at an initial loss can often mean the price of the hardware is high, but Kishimi said Nintendo is, quote, listening to what consumers expect from us setting the price, end quote. How do you feel? Do you think they're going to, how many, let me just start over. Start over. How many do you think they're actually going to sell, Gary? Do you think it's going to be like a Wii situation where just they're scarce and everybody wants it and they just
I'm not going to give out a number. I'm not going to give out a real number.
I want a number, damn it.
I'm not going to give out a number, but I do think it's going to be largely dependent on the details that come out in the future about the actual console. Like, we don't really know much about it right now, and it's hard to say how many units they're actually going to sell out of the 2 million. So, I mean, obviously, we're going to be getting a little bit into the specifications of the console in a few minutes.
That came out. Report: Nintendo Switch includes a touchscreen. Allegra Franks over at Polygon writes, Nintendo's upcoming home console handheld hybrid, the Nintendo Switch, won't ditch the touchscreen its predecessors have, Eurogamer reports. Quote, a number of sources, end quote, confirmed that not only does the Switch have touch controls, it will include a multi-touch screen. That differentiates the Nintendo Switch reported 6-inch 7... Oh, okay. Sorry. That differentiates the Nintendo Switch reported 6-inch 720-pixel resolution screen from those on Wii U and Nintendo DS line of handhelds. Those consoles boast resistive screens that allow for just single-touch use, while Eurogamer sources suggest the Switch will include touch functionality akin to most smartphones that includes multi-finger gestures, according to the unnamed sources. Nintendo has been pushing the Switch as a home console first, meaning that the tablet-style portable is meant to spend most of its time in the dock that connects to the TV. That suggests that the touch support may be limited in use in comparison to its prominence in Wii U and 3D games. That's interesting that what Nintendo states that it's mostly expected to be on the dock. That doesn't give me any what's the right word? Confidence, that's the right word, in its battery life. If they're expecting it to be on the dock most of the time, what's the purpose of taking it off?
So the Switch is going to have a touchscreen. So does that mean that it's going to be like I guess we don't really know, but so does that mean like maybe the touchscreen will be like the home screen, and then you basically select what you want to play, bang, comes up? Or I wonder how that's going to work. And it even says right here at the bottom, recent patent findings suggest that the handheld does include a touchscreen as well as a gyroscope, GPS, compass, and motion tracking capabilities.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to try to do some formality, like if you take the console on the road with you, maybe with, like, say you're playing Pokemon and you're, like, traveling around but you're not actually using it, maybe that has, like, some peripheral advantage. Maybe it levels up your Pokemon some way. I don't know what they're going to do. It'll be interesting. Maybe they'll have different experiences being away from the console, not using it, but in but close by while you're walking around. I don't know. I'm not filled with genius ideas. So you gave me this article, Gary, to read.
Well, I mean, we could just talk about it.
The Nintendo Switch trailer contained no actual game footage. Alessandro Barbosa writes over at lazygamer.net, the Nintendo Switch isn't even a week old and the internet is full of breakdowns. Think pieces and opinions about the new home/mobile console hybrid. One thing that the 3 and a bit minute Nintendo Switch trailer did well was show off the many instances where the Switch multiplayer modes would come in handy. Playing Skyrim on a plane, breaking out Mario Kart on a road trip, or just taking The Legend of Zelda on a walk. All gain experiences that work across both, even if Nintendo was a little cunning with their footage. Most console reveals of this ilk don't always use real game footage, instead simulating the play so that it looks decent for video. Nintendo are no different, but the types of games they showed off last week, and the fidelity at which they played, instilled a lot of hope about the console's mobile power, which may or may not indicate real-world performance. Since Nintendo simulated the entire thing, speaking to Eurogamer, a Nintendo spokesperson warned that games in the Nintendo Switch trailer might not be representative of the final product. Quote, at a later date, before the March launch, we will be talking about things like exact launch date and of course the games. You shouldn't assume what you saw in the video represents actual game footage, and further specifics on first-party games will be provided later, end quote. Of course, this could go twofold. The glass half-empty type look at this immediately assume that the game will not manage that sort of quality on a mobile device, and coupled with vague statements about support from Bethesda, who haven't actually said Skyrim is coming to the Switch, those worried are well-rooted. The other side of the argument suggests that Nintendo simply don't want consumers holding them up to some of the game footage shown off, especially when it comes to the new Mario and Splatoon games. That short snippets could be from products that are vastly different, making the cautionary PR release a ways to cover their bases if comparisons are made. Well, I feel like most of the time when people reveal games, it's never actual in-game footage unless it states at the bottom.
That's fine, but at the same time, I feel like if you're a PS4 or an Xbox and you release a commercial and it has, quote unquote or whatever simulated game footage, people they just they look at that and they're like, that's just gonna the Xbox and the PS4 they have that capability, they have that power. That's probably what the game's going to look similar to.
That's what they did here with the Switch.
But see, the Switch though at the same time is obviously going to be a handheld, so
it's a hybrid.
it's like they were saying, is it going to really have the power to produce what we saw in the commercial? Like, I'm not sure if that really was the best idea.
Could you say
to
that
start...
about the Xbox One and PS4 when it first came out?
Maybe, but they're not. It's not a handheld. I feel like you're comparing different things. Like,
Hybrid.
you have I'm saying, okay, fine. It's not a hybrid, but in terms of PS4 and Xbox One, you got an idea. You already knew what it was gonna be. It was gonna be basically like a state of the art computer, so to speak. And you knew the graphics, you knew the performance are probably going to be like top notch for the time. With Nintendo Switch, like, it might be, you might not know what you're getting with a handheld version of that console. Is it going to change? I don't know. It's just something to think about. And I'm not sure if it's really the smartest thing to show off Skyrim in your commercial, and when Bethesda hasn't even confirmed they're going to release the damn game. Like, what is that?
Maybe
Like,
they're holding their cards to the chest. They don't want to actually. Maybe they're going to tell us one day before it's actually released for the Switch. The way they're doing with media members. Who knows? Who knows? But the one interesting thing is, if it actually can run these games as well as they showed, like, that's going to require a lot of power from this hybrid console when it's on the road. And I don't know if our tech is up to that standard yet, and is going to be able to. It's going to require a lot of power to run these games, especially when you're away from the dock, and that's going to kill the battery. No matter what, our battery technology has not improved drastically enough for a console, for a handheld. This somewhat looks pretty small to be able to run these games for a long period of time. I was interacting actually with somebody on Twitter, Mindblowed thing, and he was worried about the battery life. Thinks it at best it'll last 3 to 5 hours, which would be decent.
5 hours would be great.
3 to 5, yeah. But he was saying they uses the 3DS XL, which I looked up lasts about 7 to 12 hours on just normal stationary mode. But again, DS games are drastically different than I don't know, like Skyrim. I'm just gonna put that out there. And he made mention, I thought was a good idea. Hopefully they'll have a Type-C controller, so when you're taking it on the go, you can have like a portable charger akin to, like, your iPhone charger, and a case with extra battery life. So you have a case that you can, Apple actually has their own cases where there's a built-in battery that can charge your phone when it brings it down. I thought that was actually a pretty good idea to last for so long. But, I mean, if it only lasts for 5 hours, if you're taking a long flight, I don't know if that's actually going to last for that long, especially if there's no chargers on the plane. I don't know.
Yeah. I would like to believe that they're smart enough to do exactly what you were just talking about, but...
Also, how loud is this console, this handheld's going to get if it's running these large games on it, and it's such a small space, and they have to get rid of all that heat, like using a fan, I presume. That's going to be a loud console.
I don't know.
Like
it's Nintendo, man.
It's
Magic.
Nintendo is very innovative, but how innovative are they? I guess we'll find out. I mean, maybe they'll have some innovative tech that's in this hybrid, but again, since they're not selling it at a loss, how expensive will it be? I always think it's going to be $299, but who knows, really? Who knows? And they sort of need this console to do well, since, their sales have been declining. Oh! Move right into the next one!
Wait a minute. You just blew my mind.
Segue! Nintendo reports sale decline. Matthew Cato at Game Informer writes, Nintendo has reported a 33% net sales decline for the period of April 1st through September 30th of this year, due to a general lack of software for the Wii U. I guess they're just focusing more on their efforts for the Switch now, since the Wii U was an absolute failure. As a result of the console's decline, sales during the period were roughly half of the 1.1 million units sold worldwide for the same period in 2015, and the lack of game sales for it. Interest in Amiibo figures also declined, quote, reduced to 3.8 million units for figure type and 1.7 million units for card type, end quote. As per usual, however, the handheld department fared better. The 3DS sold 2.7 million units worldwide, an improvement on last year. So, that goes to show that Nintendo still has a good grip on the handheld market. And I remember reading an opinion piece on Destructoid saying that this actually could be a benefit for the Nintendo, that now, instead of sort of diversifying their resources, where they have like certain first parties focusing on the 3DS, certain first parties focusing on the Wii U, now they combine their efforts and they have everybody focusing on this one hybrid console. So now, even if they lose third-party support, maybe they'll have enough first-party support. I don't know if that's good if they lose all their third-party support. But if they have enough first-party support, they can actually keep this hybrid afloat. Now they have every resource that's focused on this hybrid. At least that's my thought.
I also think, on a side note, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how much of an effect Nintendo Switch is going to have going forward on on their company. Like, is this like a make or break moment for Nintendo? Is this going to really like determine how they do in the next 10 years? I mean, you got to believe.
Will they switch from being a hardware company? If this bombs, will they switch from being a hardware company to a software?
Yeah.
Like a developing company? Because I know anybody would love having all of those games on like their PS4, Xbox One, or PC. Those would sell gangbusters.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Absolutely.
insane how much they would sell. If you released all the old, like, nostalgic Mario games, Mega Man games, Nintendo would make buku amounts.
I like
well,
the
Mega Man is Capcom, but you know what I mean. All the old NES games, all specifically old Nintendo games like Yoshi Island, they would just fucking murder it. They'd be rolling in the dough then. I'm sure they would not be declining in sales, because specifically selling software, most of the time they would be selling it at a profit, so bing, bang, boom. Top 10 best-selling Nintendo Wii U and 3DS games revealed. Do you want to see them, Gary?
Sure.
Do you want to hear them about them?
Absolutely. I could probably name off like most of them without even looking at the damn list.
Really? Looking at the damn list?
Although I'm looking at them now.
Damn it, man! I wanted to play that game.
All right, well, you can read them off. I'm not going to mention, but seriously, like some of these names, it's just hysterical. It's always their top sellers.
Going from top to bottom, the first number one seller, Mario Kart 8 with 8 million units. New Super Mario Bros. With 5.45 million. Super Mario 3D World, 5.19 million. Nintendo Land, 5.13 million. Super Smash Bros. Wii U, 4.99 million. Splatoon, 4.57 million. Super Mario Maker, 3.73 million. New Super Luigi U, 2.74 million. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, 1.98 million. And Mario Party 10, at number 10, 1.94 million. I feel like this specifically shows how these games were not console drivers. That only Mario Kart 8 only sold 10 million units. Smash Bros. Only sold not even 5 million units.
Well, not like that, but I have to say, like, I understand you can make an argument that, well, okay, I want to say this first, but I feel like Nintendo is so dependent on these games, these specific games, to get them money. Like, I understand you can make a case that, okay, well then on PS4 and Xbox, they need titles like Call of Duty, they need titles like, I don't know,
Battlefield.
Battlefield to drive their profits, but like, at the same time, it's like I look at Nintendo and the company, and it's like the same games they keep just depending on, like Mario, Pokemon. Like I don't know, man. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, 3DS sales going from 1 to 10. Pokemon XY, Mario Kart 7, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Super Mario 3D Land, New Super Mario Bros. 2, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Super Smash Bros. 3DS, Tamagotchi Life, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. But if you look at this list, it's actually the number 7 on the list outsold the number 1 on Wii U. It goes to show how Nintendo's handheld market does better than the home console. It's very fascinating. Very fascinating. You know what's fascinating, Gary?
What? Yeah.
That Microsoft is going to develop their own headset That's exciting.
be
VR
honest,
headsets from HP, Dell, Lenovo, and more in the works. Did you think I was frozen?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Tricked you. Allegra Frank over at Polygon writes, several Microsoft's manufacturing partners will release new virtual reality headsets alongside the new Windows 10 Creators Update. The company announced during a Windows-centric press conference Wednesday morning. The hardware will come from the companies like HP, Dell, Lenovo, Asus, and Acers, and will retail starting at $299. The headsets will boast, quote, inside out tracking, and quote, Microsoft said during the event. That allows for the headsets to track users' movements without any additional sensors. The PlayStation VR, HTC Vive, and Oculus Rift hardware each require tracking sensors and cost as much as $800. Quote, this means there will be zero need for a separate room, and quote, explained Terry Meisterson, executive vice president of Microsoft's Windows Device Group. Microsoft is pushing virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality tools with the Substantive Creators Update, which launches for free next spring. Several apps utilizing the technologies were shown on stage during the event. That includes HoloLens, a 360-degree view of landscapes accessible from compatibility virtual reality profiles. How do you feel about this, Gary?
Well, I'm going to say this first is, I mean, they must be really damn confident that they're going to be making money off these virtual reality sets.
Well, the fact that they're selling them for so low.
Well, I mean, they're really obviously they're undercutting everybody else, but
yeah, for sure.
I guess maybe I'm out of the loop or something, but I just didn't know that virtual reality was in such high demand. Like, all these companies are not getting into the game
because they see it as like the future of the industry, the gaming industry, getting it on the ground floor.
But is it ahead of its time? Like, that's the question you need to ask. Like, is it really that interesting? I mean, I heard some of the games are really cool. I got that. But is it ahead of its time in the sense that it's not really like that? It's not really like ready yet. I know we had this discussion before, but that's
the thing is, I feel like you only can know if you think that it's ready when you actually put it on your head and you actually experience those games and those experiences. Because I think it's, from what I'm hearing from some people, it's like a come to Jesus moment when they play VR games. They're like, holy shit, this is a new way to play. I actually need to find a time to actually play that. One of my friends has PSVR and is actually moving up to the area soon, so maybe I'll hop in and see if I have a come to Jesus moment, or I end up puking my brains out because sometimes I get motion sick. Who knows?
What games does he have?
I think he just has the demo disc right now, which has a good amount on it. I don't know what he... See, here's the thing. All right, here's the thing that he said. He's like, I don't feel like paying $60 for a short experience on this console or this VR unit. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck then did you pay $499 for PlayStation VR? Is it $499 or is it $399? I can't remember exactly. But why
does it matter?
Did you spend that much money if you're actually not going to buy the games? You're just going to use the demo disc. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
that literally makes no sense. You're stating one thing, that you don't want the experiences.
The demo disc is even shorter.
Minutes, like short experiences. Then why the fuck do you buy the console and the VR unit in the first place? That's the dumbest thing ever. Yeah. Sorry, friend, if you're listening to this, but that is the dumbest thing ever.
Bizarre.
Just wait then. If you don't want the experiences, wait until the experiences come and something stands out and says, oh, that's what I want to play. That's something I want to play. Or if you wait long enough, it actually becomes cheaper. You don't have to spend a crazy amount of money to then just have it sit on your shelf and you play demo discs all the time on it. The same thing over and over. I mean...
Damn.
That's... Whew! Sorry. Rant over. PS Plus free games for November 2016. Happy Halloween. We're happy to share the upcoming free PS Plus games for November 2016. First up this month, we have Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. The talented developers at the Chinese Room brings us a spiritual successor to Dear Esther. Set in a small, deserted English town, players search for clues to uncover what happened to all of its missing inhabitants. This is a beautiful game with an incredible soundtrack that we enjoy, you hope. We enjoy, you hope? What the fuck? We hope you enjoy. Next up is Deadly Tower of Monsters. Have you ever wanted to play through your favorite sci-fi B movie? Of course you have. That's exactly what Atlas and Ace team have made with this game. Add in a clever director's commentary, and there's a lot to enjoy about revisiting this kooky cult classic. I'm actually excited. I want to play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
I completely agree with you on that.
That's one of the games that you said that interests you, where you're just going around and no idea what you're doing, and you're just exploring what's happening in the world.
It's kind of just like, especially because I know obviously the premise of the game, but I feel like the game's just like inherently mysterious in the sense that you don't really know what the hell you're getting yourself into. So I'm definitely going to take a look at this one. I wonder how much hard drive space it takes up. Actually,
I don't know. Maybe you
That's a
should
struggle.
Search it up.
I will actually.
Phil, right now, Gary. I need to search something. Phil,
I'm actually searching.
Phil,
Everybody's gone to the Rapture hard drive.
We'll just sit here.
Son of a bitch.
We'll just sit in here in awkward silence.
Wait, why are we even looking up anything? We still have another topic on the board here.
Because, sometimes you want to figure it out.
This is something I could bring up at the end of the episode, damn it. Let's keep going on.
Voice actors declare strike against video game companies Julia Alexandria over Polygon rights after a week in negotiations between actors union SAG-AFTRA, because I don't feel like we're saying out all those letters. In various video game companies, the voice acting community has declared a strike against some of the biggest publishers and developers in the industry. SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. Jesus! That's an acronym. Released a statement just after midnight on Friday morning declaring their strike against some companies including EA, Activision, Disney Channel Voices, and Take-Two Interactive Software. According to SAG-AFTRA, after 19 months of unsuccessful negotiations, striking was the only viable option left to ensure their concerns about safer work conditions for the voice acting community was met. Quote, it's time for video game employers to take our concerns seriously and negotiate a modern contract based on actor safety, industry precedent, and best practices, end quote, Ray Rodriguez, SAFTA's chief contracts officer said. Voice actor Keith Farley reiterated that actors don't want to go on strike, but said that after close to 2 years of trying to renegotiate contracts, this was the only way to have their voice heard. This does not only include safer working conditions, there have been reports of voice actors seriously damaging their vocal cords because of strenuous and extensive recording sessions, but also an increase in money they earn from projects. SAG-AFTRA is demanding a reasonable bonus for every 2 million copies of games sold. Upfront conversations with producers about projects they're working on, and concerns from actors about working conditions taken seriously. Quote, this group of video game employers knowingly feeds off of other industries that pay these same performers fairly to make a living. A statement from SAG-AFTRA reads, quote, this represents a freeloader model of compensation that we believe cannot and should not continue. A group representing various game publishers and developers issued its own response to the union strike threat earlier this week, chiding the organization for its actions and calling it a self-defeating gesture. The group added that going on strike would only further, quote, harm their membership, end quote, reminding the union that SAG-AFTRA only represents about 25% of actors working in the industry. Some of those members, however, include well-known talents like Jennifer Hale, who voiced Commander Shepard in Mass Effect, Dave Hayter, best known for his work as the voice of Snake in Metal Gear Solid. Both actors voiced their support for the strike earlier this week. SAG-AFTRA members will picket in front of the EA's office in Playa Vista, California, starting October 24th.
Wow.
Woo!
Well, first of all, I never really thought about this. When I first read this article and it said safe working conditions, I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. And then I realized that, obviously, as you read on, that they're damaging their vocal cords by having to sit there for God knows how long and read off these crazy voices they're doing. Kind of nuts. But Jennifer Hale, though, I appreciate her work. KOTOR, Bastila. It's a throwback for anybody that's a fan of KOTOR.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe from what I'm hearing, I really wish I read up more, but unfortunately we had to do this early due to scheduling issues. From what I'm hearing, I think compensation-wise, it's been an issue. Is that most voice actors get paid up front, and instead of Like how TV actors and movie actors, they get paid residuals every time that say movie is bought or the TV show becomes syndicated, then they get residuals over time. Whereas voice actors just get that upfront payment most of the time and don't have like residuals. So say like if the game sells really well, they don't get compensated based on that. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
I guess I can see. I don't know if I can
really
see the company side because I haven't really read much on their side point of view. But
No, that is an interesting point, though. I actually didn't think. So yeah, it's interesting you brought the compensation get paid up front, like you said. It's
here actually I found an article at NPR stating about compensation and secrecy. The video game industry has ballooned in recent years. Los Angeles Times reports that the industry in the midst of an intense increase of cash flow. In 2015, games produced $23.5 billion domestic revenue. Holy shit, I didn't even know that. Games like Call of Duty Black Ops 3 even have the potential to outgross gargantuan Hollywood cinema releases. But SAG-AFTRA says voice actors don't receive residuals, like I was saying, for their gaming work. Instead, they receive a fixed rate, which is typically about $825 for a standard 4-hour vocal session, which is not bad. So the voice actors are pushing for the idea of secondary compensation, a performance bonus every time a game sells 2 million copies or downloads, or reaches 2 million unique subscribers with a cap at 80 million. Quote, it's a very small number of games that would trigger this secondary compensation issue, quote, said voice actor Crispin Freeman, who's a member of the union's negotiating committee. Quote, this is an important aspect of what it means to be a freelance performer who has to go from job to job, who isn't regularly employed every single day working on project, end quote. I mean, I said that $824 or $25 is good for a 4-hour session, but thinking about it, they are freelancers, and sometimes you're only working for that 1 4-hour session and not for a long period of time, unless you're like a main voice actor on that game or you're a prominent voice actor that always gets the roles like Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, those types of actors.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and continuing, another major complaint from the actors is the secrecy of the industry. Quote, I can't imagine if there's any other acting job in the world where you don't know what show you're in when you're hired, end quote, says voice actor Keith Farley, who chairs the SAG-AFTRA negotiating committee. Quote, and yet that happens every day in the video game world. End quote, Farley told reporters during a press conference Friday. Quote, I was a main character in Fallout 4, a character by the name of Kellogg, and I never knew that I was working on Fallout 4 throughout the year and a half that I did vocal recording for that game. You show up, there's a stack of scripts on a music stand with your lines only, end quote. I guess they do that for secrecy purposes, even though that's pretty insane that they have no clue sometimes what they're working on.
Yeah, it's actually kind of shitty. I'm not even going to lie. But I don't know. I mean...
the NPR article was written over at NPR by Iman Smith.
Yeah. I mean, if I could, like you said, if I read into this a little bit more, I would have a more opinion. But yeah, they definitely need to get paid more. I mean, Jesus, I can't imagine. I mean, I make crappy wages right now, so not that I work a real job by any means, but
you get paid hourly, and you consistently have that job where they're out of work, then they're sort of screwed. You know?
Yeah, but I couldn't live on my wages though, and they can't live on that wage either if they are living a real adult life in a home with a car. I mean, Jesus, I can't even imagine living on $800 something. I mean, please, it's a joke.
Sometimes rough situations. Well, I'm trying to find something I saw on Twitter.
Improv right here at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we're not very good at being improvisationist.
It's like that Family Guy thing. Play me off, Johnny. Guy comes on with the piano.
Shit, man. I'm trying to find because there's actually a voice actor that I saw on Twitter post something, and the other person stated something on Twitter. I forget who. Say that he started in the industry in 1985 and only started getting like consistent work in like 2002, which is
I guess
insane.
it's not. I mean, but that's not entirely too shocking, I guess, because like if you think about it, voice actors haven't exactly been necessary for that. I mean, like, you know,
Yeah.
back in the 80s, I mean, like, what games really had that crazy voice work and story? I mean,
But I think that was based off of people calling them, like, getting mad at them for striking because they're called lazy, I guess, even though...
no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
can't,
would love to be
my
a voice
throat
actor.
hurts right now, and I'm not even doing anything strenuous for what they have to do. Like the ha! Yee! That stuff. My voice would be killing me.
Yeah, seriously. I would love to do voice work. That'd be, like, honestly a dream job. It'd be so cool to just, like, walk into a studio.
You guys can hear Gary's voice work every beginning, intro, and outro of the Two Jersey Kids podcast. I completely forgot. I just realized I completely forgot to do the spiel because we got in such a tangent. I forgot to do the spiel of what Two Jersey Kids is. I guess I'll do it at the end, which is coming soon. So, Gary, we got through all the topics. Oh, I am tired right now. My throat is killing me. I gotta go now see my parents for dinner. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the week?
Well, I've been really, I've been really torn actually. I've been playing more NHL 17 lately because it's been more of like a social experience with my friends. I play with like a few friends, and it's always a good time. I mean, granted, there are times where the game pisses me off, but
when doesn't it?
Well, you'd be surprised. The game's actually a lot of fun. I know I've said that before, but I'll say it again. I you know, seeing as I'm a critic of EA Sports, but I'm planning on watching a lot of hockey this weekend. Flyers are playing tonight, well, Thursday, and then playing on the weekend as well. So I'll be watching some Flyers Penguins action on Saturday night, and I'll be playing some hockey tonight, Thursday. It's Thursday night at the time of this recording.
Is it Thursday?
Well, because tomorrow it's deceiving when they get this tomorrow. But you know, as always, Trials of Osiris this weekend. I will be playing Destiny. I will be playing.
No way.
It's also Festival of the Lost going on in the game, so I kind of want to get some more masks.
What does that
and
even
shaders.
mean?
It's a Halloween event. It's like that's all it is. It's everything in the game world, like the tower and other social areas are decorated for Halloween.
Oh, it's like MMO style. They did WoW and Christmas and stuff like that.
Yeah, and basically you can like go and get masks and shaders, which change the color of your character's armor and stuff like that.
Ooh, that's cool.
So it's just kind of a fun thing. But that's pretty much it for me. What are you going to be doing?
What am I doing? I plan on getting Titanfall 2. Unfortunately, though, this weekend I'm going up to Jersey, so I'll be up in your area, Gary.
Oh, yeah?
Visiting family. Maybe I'll come say hi to you. Maybe not, because I hate you, actually. People don't actually know that in secret we hate each other. Hatred flows. That's why it's so good.
I see you enough on here.
But that's why I like it on the Skype screen seeing right now, Gary is like portion of the square. He's just trying to run away. I'm seeing family, and then maybe I'll hop into Titanfall 2 maybe on Sunday. That should be fun. I'm hearing actually really good things about it, so I'm excited. I'm really excited to play Titanfall 2. Shockingly, I'm more excited than that than I did. Heard good things about Battlefield 1 and then good things about Titanfall 2. For some reason, Titanfall 2 sort of I felt like drawn to and I want to play. So I'm going to try to get into that. And that's about it for all I have. Maybe that's what I need to start doing. I need to watch Westworld. I need to get into that show. I've been hearing good things.
Yeah, man.
By you
Episode
and people
4
on
was
Twitter.
Killer.
Episode 4 was killer.
Yeah, man.
Is that literal form of killer? Or is that killer as in like, shit, that's sweet?
I mean, honestly, this show, like, people, I mean,
die left and right.
Yeah, because you have to understand the show first to know why I say that. But
yeah, I think you gave me the
spiel
spiel before. So that should be interesting. I want to check it out. And maybe I'll have thoughts on it next time. Maybe when the show ends, we'll just do a random Two Jersey Kids review of the series. Just for shits and gigs. Why not? Uh-huh. But thank you all for being here. Thank you all new listeners. Please, if you're a new listener, hit that subscribe button. Please subscribe to us. We love all of you listeners. You guys are awesome. We love interacting with you on Twitter. We've actually been interacting with people on Twitter more. These guys are awesome. You guys know who you are.
I wanted to give a shout out to I think it's I don't give Adam. I think something like that at Matt. How does he put it? I want to search it actually on the fly here, like a schmuck.
Well, yeah, Adam's a pretty cool guy from what I've been seeing on interacting with him on Trying to email him right now. Maybe get him on the show eventually. Do an interview, talk about like we did with the Gaming U app person, AJ Picard. Do that style of interview.
I will say, I thought it was really awesome that he's listening all the way from Cambridge. That's kind of insane to me. I mean, we have fans in different countries in a different part of the world. So
who would thunk it? Us too. We love you all. So please, if you're a new listener, please subscribe. Please stop what you're doing right now and give us a rating on iTunes. It really helps us out. And then also, if you'd be so kind, share it out on your Twitter feed or something. Say, hey, I really like this podcast. These two jackasses are really ridiculous, and I like listening to them for some odd reason. So we get more listeners. So we can get more topics on the show submitted by people, because that's what we really want. We want interactions with you guys. We'll read them on the show. Get your opinions about games, because, we can't be everywhere at once. We're just normal gamers like you. We can't review everything. We're not made of money, just like you guys are. So we're just going to try to keep growing with all of you guys. So thanks again for listening. Please interact with us on Twitter at 2JerseyKids. Remember, we release a show on Tuesday giving you the games that are going to be released that week. And then we have this Friday episode that's in your ears right now, where we talk about the topics and the news that are happening throughout the week from last Friday. That's about it. Gary, you have anything left to say to these beautiful listeners?
Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Man, he was so animated. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Gary and Adam have left the building.